I'm recording.
Okay. I don't know if we need to put the helmets on, but you can if you want to. Can I hear myself? I can't.
Yeah. You cannot?
I can.
Okay. That's the point of them.
Okay. Welcome to Wandering Around Wyoming. We're roaming.
Wondering about Wyoming.
Wondering about Wyoming.
Or wandering around Wyoming. Or at least wandering around a small part of Wyoming. Mostly within a mile of where we currently live.
We've wandered a little bit further.
That's true.
We're from a lot of westernized places, and we moved to Casper, Wyoming about a month and a half ago. And we're very familiar with the 2nd Street Avenue, and you've done a little bit of trekking about the neighborhood. We're starting this podcast to talk about the beautiful things we see and the things we notice outside of our range of understanding and experience in different places. I'm from Ohio, and then I was born in Florida, then I went to Ohio, and then I moved to Idaho for school, and then back to Ohio, and then we moved out to Wyoming.
I, too, was born in Florida. Though I moved to Brazil and Singapore and Malaysia and Texas and Georgia and Idaho and then Ohio. And then now I'm here.
And now we're here. And so, like you said, we've been kind of meandering about the sunny terrains of Wyoming. We're at about, 5,500 square feet.
5,150 according to Wikipedia.
Sea level elevation. And one of the first things we noticed upon arriving here is the headache from dehydration. I noticed that.
I can't say I had a headache from dehydration, but I am very dehydrated all the time here. It seems...
I have a headache right now.
I see. Yeah, I don't remember needing this much water except in military training.
Mm-hmm. On average, how much water do you think we consume a day? I'd say about 2 of these big chug-a-lug bottles that we have laying around the studio.
Yeah, so in that sense, I guess it's not as much as I used to drink. I think when I was in Georgia, I used to drink about 2 gallons of water a day. And then I shifted down to 1 gallon when I moved to Idaho and I was working out. And then when I stopped going to the gym, I went down to like half a gallon of water every day. But it does seem like the thirst is like nothing quenches it.
Yeah. I was in a kind of a grumpy mood for the last hour or so until I put this sucker in my mouth, which has nothing to do with the water, but maybe it does. I'm producing more saliva at this moment.
Also, after Idaho, where there are like no insects, it's interesting that there are insects here.
Yes.
But there are these beetle-like creatures that seem similar to stink bugs. And you said fireflies.
They look like fireflies, but they're not fireflies.
We don't know what they are, but they keep coming in, and they seem pleasant. They don't seem unpleasant, like a cockroach. Mm-hmm. There's also a few houseflies that keep showing up.
Mm-hmm. One died the other day. Did you put it on the windowsill on purpose?
No.
Well, one died on the windowsill.
Other things about Wyoming that are hitting me is that it's so bright.
So bright.
Which is very nice.
You need sunglasses. He's obsessed with this particular light. What is it called? What is the lumens in this bulb that we do not have?
It is a corncob warehouse light that is very, very bright, more than 50,000 lumens. It's pretty amazing, brighter than these studio lights, which are pretty bright.
Imagine staring into the sun and then amplify it in a room.
So it's very nice to have an outside that is extremely bright. Nice combination with the cold. Also, the coldest place I've ever lived in now, technically, but I don't really feel the cold too much in preparation. Well, upon coming here, I did purchase an insulated bib.
Yes, he purchased a Canadian bib that has a quilted inner liner that has been toasting your jimmies when we've been outside, except for the other day. So
Yeah, most of the time it's been too warm, but the other day we went up Casper Mountain and I was
lovely
a little
area.
cold.
Yes, it was. So down by our house, it was 19 degrees Fahrenheit. And then by the time we got up the mountain, which by a direct line is about 1.5 miles from us, once it starts ascending, it starts ascending pretty immediately because we live in the valley of Casper Mountain. But once we got to the top, which they have Nordic ski trails up there, it became quickly 9 degrees, which the snow insulates the general area, so I didn't feel that cold, but I had several layers on. Even though he had his Canadian bib, he was developing icicles on his facial fur.
We also went to a gun show the other day,
We went to a gun show yesterday.
and
It was in the fairgrounds, where all good guns are displayed.
there were a lot of heritage revolvers, a few Mausers, and
What's a Mauser?
it is a German bolt-action rifle, or maybe Dutch, one of those, I think German, that was pretty well used in the early part of the 20th century. They are pretty reliable and hardy, from my understanding.
Great.
There were also some lever-action rifles.
There was a guy named Mark who I talked to, and another guy who gave me his name. And his name was not something I remember, but he had very big brown eyes, and he was making his own guns. And he did seemingly a very good job. I know nothing about firearms other than the way they're shaped. They had some what is apparently shitty swords, which I thought were pretty cool, and a popcorn machine, which you need at every craft fair.
Also, I don't know if this is national or this area at this time, but it does seem like 9mm rounds are cheaper than 22 at the moment.
Speaking of
Over
cheap
here.
things, let's talk about beef. Let's talk about Wyoming beef.
Yeah, it's the cheapest, best quality beef that I have encountered in the
Except-
United States. It does not compare to Brazil, of course, where you can have 3 steaks a day, or where I did have 3 steaks a day for like $1 last year.
Now, so what we do, so there's about three grocery stores we go to. We go to Ridley's, go to Albertsons, which I want to call Anderson's. That's false. We have 4 grocery stores. We go to the Walmart on the east side of town because we live closer to the east side of town than the west side of town. And then there's the natural grocers. So Albertsons and Ridley's have a discounted meat section. And not just your 30% off, like these guys are turning. And that's what we want. We want the sirloin, top sirloins that were, originally $12.99 a pound, marked down to $4.49 or something a pound. Yeah, we're getting the stuff that's not quite red anymore. But it tastes freaking fine.
Pretty great.
It's pretty great. I wish there was more fish. I haven't looked at fish, though. I've only been, ecclesiastical about the beef and pork section.
We are thinking about, or we are planning to start fishing around here to get our fish.
Yes. There's a reservoir about 45 minutes southwest of us called Alcova Reservoir, which has some pretty Damarascan fishing.
There is also to the southeast, was it Glen something?
Glendo.
Glendo State Park.
But the North Platte River, all across it, has apparently really good fishing. But I want to go back to the grocery stores. Eggs. So we're talking the big three. You got meat, you got your dairy, and you got your dinosaur eggs. And dairy is always expensive everywhere. Beef, we've accomplished in finding discount. Eggs, you're gonna have a hard time finding eggs for less than $4.99 a dozen. But we have, and it is at the Natural Grocers. If you have a membership to Natural Grocers next to Old Chicago Pizzeria and Tap Room, you can get a dozen eggs for $1.99. And your local yogurt starter, which I have started a yogurt batch, and you can get some kombucha starter if you like fermented things, which I do. I've also started a kimchi. So if anyone's interested in kimchi, email us at later email. We'll put that in another episode. Wondering, Wyoming.
These are the most expensive eggs I have encountered in a long time in the United States. I don't know if it's just the general United States egg prices or the egg prices here or some combination thereof. But it is nice that the beef is a little cheaper to make up for that.
I think we could talk about inflation as being the reason that chickens are having really expensive eggs. When we lived in Idaho, you could get 6 dozen eggs for $9. Is that accurate?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. Okay. So milk is the lowest around here. It's about $3.34-ish. But if you get it when it's turning, like it was at Ridley's the other day, which we didn't buy enough gallons, it was $2.29, which I would say is the normal average on a not shitty economic year. Also, gas here cheaper.
Yeah.
Period.
Maybe Nebraska is the only other place of comparable price that I've seen.
Gas right now at the Conoco is $2.98.
And that's wondering about Wyoming.
Well, we're not done yet. We still got other things.
There are many things.
Yeah, there are many things. There's a huge volunteer community. Like I feel like there's 60,000 people approximately in Casper. You have Evansville, you have Mills. There's a town just north that's smaller called Bar None. And then you have the center Casper. And something we noticed, Casper, the greater metro area, is very sectioned off regarding corporations. So downtown you have a lot of small town businesses, family-owned small business, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to find chains anywhere. But the second you step over into Evansville, it's 100% of all the rest of America.
Big box.
Big box?
Yeah, big box America.
The big box America. Texas Roadhouse. That's all I know. That's the only important one. Marshall's, Staples.
Best Buy.
Staples.
Walmart.
Wendy's, Taco John's, and Taco Bell. It's a beautiful area, too. They're 4 colors. You have beige, sky blue, brown,
sage.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's do another color.
There's actually a lot of colors, but yeah.
Well, variations of, I'm trying to, and let's leave an open finger for the possibilities of a different color. I've been wearing a lot more brown. We've really dampened our clothing color palette not since moving here. It's been a progressing thing, but
we're no longer at the height of high fashion.
Yeah, we're not. I mean, I still am, but high fashion is whatever's the closest on the floor in the closet.
Whatever will be easily mended.
Yeah. We live next to a Christmas store.
There is apparently a Christmas store.
Year round. It's really nice. It's really, well, by nice, I mean there's nice old ladies that talk to us. People seem pretty friendly with each other, like the Facebook group. Like, there's several different Casper classified Facebook groups, or like rants and raves for the businesses, and I follow all of them because I want to know about the small businesses. I want to know what people are talking about in town, and people are very responsive to each other. Like, no questions, like, I need a job, how do I get here? PM me, like, talk to me, like, nobody ignores it. And people, like, know each other, and, like, word gets around really fast. And it's really cool, and I like that. Also, I meant to go back to the volunteering opportunities in town. It just seems like every, like, community-oriented, I don't know, event you can volunteer for, and everything is kind of run by the city.
There are many things that are run by the city. They have a rec center that has a pool, and
the ski slope.
Places. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The ski slope is also run by the city.
There's apparently I don't think this is run by the city, but a biathlon arena at the top of the mountain.
It's not at the top, but it is high
somewhere
up.
on the mountain where you can do some Nordic skiing and shooting. And I know that this was going to be a short episode, but I'm just going through initial impressions. Maybe I should save some for next time.
Yeah. For example, we haven't even gotten started on the geology of Wyoming.
Yeah. So next time,
Or
tune
the
into our
local plants.
Yeah. So tune into our next episode where we continue on our journey about our new cowboy lifestyle, where we talk about geology, plants.
I don't know if I'll ever be a cowboy.
Wild turkeys. Oh.
But I could see being a goat herd.
Where we're turning into herders, becoming a sheeper of men, a sherper of men, and
a sherbet of women.
And sherbet of women, coming to you live from Natrona Library.